Alright, so I'm gonna be talking a little low to family sleep. Not trying to wake anybody up, but this video is gonna be about the devaluing of men and women. Before I get started, just to give a little context and to, kind of start the self-promotion thing. I'm in school right now to become a counselor or therapist, however you want to look at it. I mention that because I want people to understand that I'm not just talking about certain topics just to, because it's trending or it's a hot topic or whatever the case is. No, this is actually in my line of work. A lot of my topics are in my line of work. So that's just to give context of the relationship style videos that you may see or whatever the case is, because becoming a therapist, my initial goal was not, it had nothing to do with relationships. It had everything to do with individualized services that I wanted to provide for people. But I had to realize, a lot of people are in relationships, and relationships are a big part of our community, and that's part of the problem. We got to understand that our relationship as a whole, our dynamic is damaged, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort to repair that. So we got to have a certain level of patience and understanding that that's what's going on. That's what's been going on for a while. And if we don't fix that, the problems are going to continue. It's not going to stop. There's nothing that anybody will be able to do to stop those problems if they're not addressed. First on an individual level, doing the individual work, then as it pertains to the dynamic, it'll make that, a little bit easier. But somehow with black men and black women, we've started being in competition with each other as opposed to working with each other and working beside each other. What I see a lot of times when there's a discussion between black men and black women, it's always in the sense of trying to one up the other, as if both sides don't have legitimate arguments about the challenges that they've either had or that they are having. It's always a one-up type thing instead of just acknowledging, like, all right, I know y'all got what y'all got going on y'all side. I know what y'all got going on y'all side. So it's just all about acknowledging instead of trying to one-up. On the Crit song that I was listening to titled The Light. And I don't use this word on the daily, but being that I'm quoting it, I'm going to just say it exactly how it was said. But he said something along the lines of, kings down to be niggas, I hope it's a phase. Queens down to be hoes as long as they're paid. That particular part speaks volumes on our current mind state in regards to men, how we operate, as far as we don't value other black men. Men, we don't value black women. Black women don't value other black women. Black women don't value men, to the point that we can call each other all type of names and behave certain type of ways, so on and so forth. So in one instance you got self-value, in another instance you just got value for your people just in general. And it's clear as day that stuff is not there, and it's getting even worse, and you can see it in everyday life. If you want to look at it from the standpoint of how we men are quick to have a certain amount of energy towards each other, to the point of wanting to bring harm to each other over some dumb stuff, and we shouldn't even get to that point. Women not having value in themselves to where they would bring themselves down low enough to be treated a certain type of way or start behaving a certain type of way, so on and so forth. So you got that type of value. And the two aspects that actually motivated me to make this video, the sacrifices that are made on both sides but are not valued from either side. And I'll give you an example. Men, we go through a lot on the daily. We may not voice that, but we go through an extreme amount, especially if you trying to be the type of man that you need to be, trying to take care of your family, whether that's a conducive family function, like in the same household, or y'all not in the same household, whatever the case may be. If you're a man out on your grind, so on and so forth, we understand it's not as easy as it may look, and it's not, and a lot of times a lot of things get overlooked because, like I said, we don't voice it. But as a man, we got to go through so much. If we talking about the same household, Men oftentimes, despite whatever it is we going through, we got to be strong for everybody else and be the shoulder to cry on for everybody else. Meaning, we'll put our stuff to the side, not to be overbearing for everybody else within the house that's going through, what they going through. You got to be strong for your kids, got to be strong for your wife, so on and so forth. The women, in that sense, they may say they have to be strong for the family, and I get that. I'm not saying that they don't, but women have to understand, we men are y'all safe haven, all right? And women should be our safe haven as well, but women just try to understand, we as men, we got to be stronger for y'all, because we have to make sure we can bring that emotional support to you. And in order for us to do that, a lot of times we may sweep whatever we going through under a rug to make sure we can try our best to, be what we need to be for you. But where does that leave us if we never address our issues? So that's what I mean by sacrifices as men that may be overlooked a lot of times. Sacrifice for women, one in particular. Women have had to go through so much to get to a point of being viewed equal as men, or even being viewed as human. Now you got a lot of men that fight against it or whatever, because the way this society has been made, and the conditioning of our minds and the way that we think, we have a flawed mentality on the dynamic between men and women and the roles that we play. Instead of being on the men's side, instead of us looking at each other as equal, men oftentimes, society-based, not just in the black community, but society-based, we view ourselves over women. Now, I'm saying we, because I am a man, even though I don't share those same views, but that's the reality of it. So from a woman's standpoint, they had to fight so hard to get to a point to where it's no longer viewed that way. So being that we men don't value all that they've been through, that sacrifice, that showed a broken link within the chain. So the last thing that I wanted to point out is, and this is the ultimate sacrifice for women, but both sides are playing an important part. And this where the debate comes in, this debate I'm starting to hear about, as far as where the seed comes from when it comes to, conceiving a child, where the seed comes from. From a biological standpoint, if you care about that, I guess you would get involved in that debate. Me personally, I don't get involved in those debates because I don't care where the seed comes from. My outlook on it is that both sides are playing a very important role in something that is spiritual and that produces a child, so on and so forth. Now, men, this is where I got to be honest with us, and I know we don't really like honesty, but though we play an important role in that process, it's a very small role, very small compared to everything that comes afterwards. All right, men, once the seed is planted or the seed is fertilized, or whatever, however you want to say it, once that process is done, that's it for us. We can wash our hands. All right, now within our community, it's bad that we already have a lot of men that go off and do their own thing and don't take care of their family, not there to support their woman, not there to support their kids, so on and so forth. That's an unfortunate known thing within our community, but it's a reality that can actually happen. Where is the woman going to go? Wherever she goes, that baby she's carrying inside of her, it goes with her. So her sacrifice continues to go on. Not only that, she has to go through so much within those 9 months, and even after the 9 months, the pregnancy ain't over once the baby is born. Women still go through so much more after that. So they have to make it to the point of giving birth. Within that process is a lot. They got to try to stay healthy. They got to try to keep their emotions in check. They got to try to stay in an emotional balance, healthy state for the baby. Got to consume the right foods. Got to do this, and they have so much that they have to do from their standpoint. While what are we doing as men? Yeah, we may be there to support, but we just feet just kicked up. We chilling. So to get to a point where men are downplaying women carrying a child and giving birth to a child, or all that, to where it seemed like we like, that ain't nothing, it's crazy that we can get to that point, and you can only imagine how that will make a woman feel, that she's putting her life on the line, not only for us but for the child, so on and so forth. And now here it is, the very man that she decides to have a child with is downplaying that whole process. So like I said at the beginning, we have a lot of problems within our dynamic that we have to fix, and we have to start doing it by doing, you know, the self-work, our mentalities of, you know, what has gotten us to this point. We got to start addressing it. All right, I don't want to make it too long, but leave your comments, like, share, subscribe. For the new subscribers, I appreciate it. I understand I'm not consistent with a lot of videos. I am trying to do better with that, but I am very busy outside of social media. I'm not heavily invested in social media, but I am trying to do a lot better with that. I'm putting effort towards it. But for those that are new to my channel, I appreciate it. If you've been with the channel, keep rocking with me. Appreciate y'all.